Hello everybody and welcome to Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary. Please like, share and subscribe, and now I've got that bit out of the way. Superb. Something I spoke about in my update in Babel yesterday was Janus and the Pope. And I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to do this kind of show. But I was flicking through my Telegram, one of my Telegram channel feeds, and Jolanda had shared. Hello, Jolanda. Thank you very much for sharing all my work. I do appreciate it. You're a star. Jolanda had shared something on the Pope going. A little, I think it was a Instagram or TikTok type thing, and it was very interesting. Because it was an AI image, and it was an AI image of, but there was something about that AI image within that little clip that got me thinking. And so I thought, I've been threatening to do this for a while, so I'm gonna. Now, all I'm showing you is where the breadcrumbs leave. Or lead me to. It's going to trigger some of you. It's not my intention to upset anybody, but it is what it is, and so we probably need to start having a look at the connection with Janus in this realm, and as the Pope's passing. And we will look at that right at the end, I think. As the Pope's passing has been a big news story, I've put this together today. It's not for everyone's taste. You're not going to enjoy it, some of you, and some of you are going to love it. So it could be a bit Marmite. Here we go. So without further ado, I think we'll get into the slideshow and we'll go down the rabbit hole, okay? So let's do the technical bit. Right, this is the image regarding the camerlengo, who is the secretary to the Pope and the one that actually pronounces when the Pope's dead by hitting on him on the head 3 times with a hammer. Obviously not a big hammer, it's just a small little device, but yeah, so when the Pope dies, they don't actually get a doctor. This gentleman comes along and clacks him on the head and decides if he's alive or dead. But this is the image that I spoke about in the entrance going on, and this is a very big key. Now obviously the real person has a cross, doesn't have a key, but I thought it was very, very interesting that a key was produced by AI, and this is a sign. And so when you see signs, you really do have to follow the rabbit trail sometimes, and I have. So the camerlengo or lingo or lego or whatever he's called is a key person. The key person in the case of the Vatican, Pope Francis' health worsens, is key. And the guy's called Cardinal Farrell, who does not look anything like the CGI. But it's very interesting that he's a key figure in the papal succession because of his appointment in 2019. So not only is this man responsible for deciding when the Pope dies, this man's also responsible for the appointment of the new Pope. But he's a key figure, and the AI put a key on him. So I just had to go down and explain and show what I've seen recently that I've been talking about for some time but not actually shown. Now this is the camerlengo's or camerlegos or whatever his name is sigil, his coat of arms as such. And we have a red cord, a shield with a duality of the lion and twin keys under a parasol or an umbrella with the duality of the colours again. Very interesting. This is the Vatican flag. Now the old pictures of the Vatican flag, this actually looks like a beehive, which has got significance because that's the top or the cornerstone of the Masonic archway, the bee. But nevertheless, we still have the duality of the keys and the cord. And the cord is actually goes all the way back to ancient Sethite or Sumerian and was called Tarnica. And Tarnica is still a girl's name in that region of the world today. Because Tarnica means red cord. So this has got huge significance. I'm not entirely sure what, but obviously we have a pyramid here in shape with another pyramid coming down. Two pyramids in fact. Very interesting. Nothing is by mistake, we know this. Now, this is our good buddy Janus. He has a wand, in this case in this hand, and he's holding a key. And we have two faces, looking in two different directions, wearing a crown, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points coming off. That 7's quite interesting. I have not put the slide up, and I'm not going to just yet, but if I remember I will explain why the 7 is very important near the end, because I'm aware of the time constraints of if I start really going into this, an hour and a half or 2 hour presentation would get a little bit boring. So but it's very interesting. There's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very significant. In any kind of drawing or architecture that is done, everything has a meaning and everything is important. The hand up and the hand down has another significance. And we have seen this as well. Symbology will be their downfall. Now this is Tarnica. This is it could actually be Tarnica. Now this is Janus again, but it's called Janus. It's a twin-headed god, and this time it's female. But we tell there's a head, a face and a face. Sometimes Janus is depicted in very old stuff with 3 faces, but here we can clearly see there's 2, and one perhaps in the shadow. Because we have the moon here. Why would potentially the 3rd face of Janus be in shadow looking at the moon? Very interesting. We have 365, which would probably be relates to the days of the year, sitting on the world. So this is just sitting on the big atlas or world. with a key for turning time and keys to the door. Interesting how we have the infinity as well there. So much to depict from this picture. This is, I believe, the bottom of a calendar of some sort, which is quite interesting, because I think in his calendar Janus turns up again in the top, as in January, the dead month, the month added by the Roman Catholic Church, or the Romans added it. But yeah, very interesting. And here we have Janus again, big key, holding the vine or fruit, because he's also associated with harvest and planting. But in this picture, what's really, really interesting is he's standing on two worlds, a foot in one and a foot on the other. This symbolises the control mechanism of Janus, as he has his feet holding down and controlling two worlds, with the duality of the face. In this case, Janus is depicted as male, both sides. And here we have Janus again. Again, three faces, tiny little one here, which is interesting. So we have a face here, and a very small one here. In this case, it's drinking wine. I'm not quite sure what this is. Could be picking the teeth. But here we have a fish, a wine, probably bread and a knife. I wonder what other character had wine, bread and a fish. We are talking about the Pope after all. Interesting one, that one, isn't it? Now this is a classic image of Janus. Janus was on a lot of Roman coins, and this is where we get the name coin's face. And the coin has two faces, one that we can see and one that we can't see. Very much like the moon, in fact. And here Janus, in this particular depiction, is male, but not bearded in this particular one. Now Janus actually is far older than the Roman Empire and the Romans. And the Romans would have been aware of Janus, and so would have been one of the first gods worshipped. All other gods came after Janus. So Janus is the god of beginnings, gates, transitions, that's birth and death, time, so I'll say that one again, time, duality, doorways, passages, frames and endings. He's also the god of war and peace, and everything else you could ever imagine. The month of January is named after Janus. As I said before, but that's a dead month. And again, Janus is usually depicted having two faces, but sometimes three. That's a very interesting one, that one. But Janus is the God of beginnings. So he was the first God. Janus frequently symbolises change and transition, such as the progress of the past and the future, time. From one condition to another, healthiness to unhealthiness, or unhealthiness to healthiness. From one vision to another, or one time to another. And young people's growth to adulthood, from child to adulthood. Birth and death as well. He represented time, because he could see into the past with one face and into the future with another. A bit like a clock face. This time one is very, very important, because Janus is many things and no things at the same time. Janus is also the god of actors and actresses. What a show, hey? Okay. When invoked with other gods, usually he's called Pater. We're going to get into that in a second. For Janus, the title is not just a term of respect. Principally, it marks his primordial role. His primordial role. He is the first of the gods. He is the first of the gods, and thus their father. Pater. Their father. Our Father, who art in heaven. I think you can see where we're going here, can't you? I hope so. So let's look at Pater, or father, which is Latin for father. It's a title given to a father deity, a Roman des Pater. So remember, Janus is two-faced, but Janus has duality, and Janus can have two names because he's the god of duality. So he makes him a very tricky god, because he's also the actor god, and so he can act and trick his way and become one thing or another at the beginning or endings of something, because he's the god of doorways. Which, let's have a tangent. In the UK, I don't know about the rest of the world, but it was a tradition in the UK to open the front door and the back door to let the new year in and the old year out. You are worshipping Pater, the father, or Janus. Janus is the first of January, the one, the number one god. And every single month one represents Janus, but January is particularly so, and that's why we celebrate New Year on the 1st of January, even though it's not New Year and never was New Year previously to around 500 years ago. But what we get here is the father deity, des Pater, a Roman and Celtic god of the underworld. Now all of you were reading this way before me gets there, but he's the god of the underworld. Later subsumed by Pluto and Jupiter, God the Father in Christianity. So Janus is the Father who art in heaven, is the duality, but is also the god of the underworld, and is God the Father in Christianity. oh, that's a big one. But there it is in black and white. It's not me saying. Read it. Look it up. Some of you are going to get triggered by this, but it is what it is. This is an early depiction of Cronus. The god of time. What was Janus the god of? Time. So if Janus is the god of time, then Cronus is Janus. It's very interesting that in most of the prediction or the artwork that I have seen of Cronus, we have one face and two faces. We have two stages, elderly and young. This particular image is very interesting because Cronus is wearing holly. And we do like a tangent, so let's have a second one, shall we? Holly is the pagan holy tree. Holly, holy. And wands were made out of holly to cast spells. So you'd use the holly wood to cast spells. I wonder what Hollywood in Los Angeles does. Cast spells via the vision. Now there's some images that I could not include in this presentation because this gets very dark very quickly, and this looks quite an angelic, lovely picture, but actually I'll probably go into it a little bit next slide or two and explain what I'm talking about. So this is quite a famous painting, and I'm not going to read it out, but it was painted in 1530 with Janus and Cronus are to the left. Now you probably can't see it very easily, but Janus is actually here and this is Cronus. But this is the whole painting. This is Janus, male and female. The female is actually called Diana, and Diana is quite famous. But here we can see quite clearly there's the key. The key has been held. This is Diana, and Diana is the god of the half moon and whole moon. And here we see the face lit up and the face in dark. The half moon shining with the dark of the other moon. That's Janus. We have the snake. It's very interesting. We have a snake. And this is Cronus, time. Janus with the key, Cronus, time. With a scythe. In this representation, the scythe would be harvest time, perhaps. But as she ain't looking very happy, I don't think it's that way inclined. This is another image of it, and we can see a little bit clearer there that it's been changed slightly. But what we have here above the head is an angel. The angel of victory, holding the crown above the head. Wonder if we can go back. No. I couldn't put it in on this one if it's there, because we have rules on YouTube, and the lady here is showing something that we can't have, nudity and such like, and so this image is the same but slightly different. This lady here, by the way, the one that's looking unhappy, this lady here is Gaia. This is Mother Earth. This is Mother Earth looking away from what's going on here. At the bottom, subservient to Janus and Cronus and the winged angel of victory. So this to me represents Gaia being stampeded down and taken over by Janus as Cronus and the winged angel victory with the golden crown. Now, the Grim Reaper, somebody that we're quite familiar with in our modern day, but he comes from Cronus and Cronus. And the myth of Cronus eating his children was used in a poetic sense at the time, devouring all things. And this goes back to what I was going to say earlier. There are many images of Cronus, that old man, eating the flesh of the child in not a very nice way. That has carried on to this day, and we know it. But again, I can't go there on YouTube. But those that know, you know. And maybe that's just dropped a little bit of a aha moment. So Cronus, who is Janus, devours all things, particularly young things. And here is Cronus with the child. And the wings. Perhaps he's an angel now. One face, two face. Always depicted the two of them. One face, two face. With the scythe. So something that was potentially okay has now got darker and darker connotations. This is a very early depiction of Cronus. There is no child in this one, but what we have is wheat and the sickle, and we have two snakes facing in two different directions. And yet what do we find held in the hand of Janus? Fruit, vines and crops. This is a very early depiction. This is a later depiction. Cronus, the child, the scythe, the fruit, Aries, the ram, or the twin horns, and we have two dragons in this case, or two serpents, one facing one way, one facing the other way. the duality of the duality, riding the chariot. Over the earth. This is a very old depiction of Janus. Janus is both male and female in this case. We have Diana one side and Janus, Juno, the other. He's holding the serpent and she has three-headed something coming out of her cup. We have the lion. We have the phoenix. For those of you who follow archaics, the phoenix, you will understand the meaning of that and the connection that there is between Janus and the phoenix and the lion. And don't we see a lion in the Pope or in the Vatican's shield? And we have the serpents, 3 serpents on the floor, as well as nature. All those faces. And we can see the wings. Very interesting. Now, why is the Vatican named after Vatica, the goddess of the underworld? Well, I think we've answered that one already, haven't we, on a previous slide. Where was that slide? Oh, because the Father is the god of the underworld. And God the Father in Christianity. Oh, we have 2 horns. The horned goat or the horned something else. Interesting. Why would you call a religious city after the goddess of the underworld? Starting to see a pattern here, aren't we? This is the fella that passed recently. This is another horned fella. Baal, Baphomet, whatever you want to call it. The winged god. One hand up and one hand down. We saw that earlier as well, didn't we? Janus. Twin aspects. The third face, potentially. But we have the twin serpents with the ball. Oh, we have twin serpents with the ball. Isn't that very interesting? We also have a very interesting star here. Twin serpents. Duality of looking opposite each other. With Cronus with his scythe. This time there's no child. The twin serpents. Connected to pulling the staff. This is inside the Vatican. We've looked at the serpent, and we can see the serpent, even the fangs, and where the tongue would be. This is our friend that's just passed. And this is a very interesting piece of artwork that sits here and here and here, and which the Pope sits in front of. And this is a depiction of a demonic entity escaping hell. This is the previous Pope. He appears to have horns on his robes. And this is Pan. Peter Pan. Peter Pan has a pipe, and here it's shown as a leaf. Pan, the two horns. Baal. This is Father Christmas riding on the Yule January goat. Cronus with the child, with the holly crown, the crown of Hollywood, the holy wood crown of Cronus or Janus riding the Yule goat, which is Pan, which is Saturn, who is Satan in later depictions. And I think that's enough of that, because we can then see that the Pope who passed and an actor who hasn't. But it's rumoured that that actor was playing this actor for some time. I decided to stop at this point because it would have gone too deep, and I think I put enough questions, and there's enough information there to get everybody thinking about. Hello, I'm back. There's enough questions there to get everybody thinking. I think it's very clear that the Pope finally met Janus, whether it was a few days ago or a few years ago. But there are many wider questions that I have raised in this presentation about many things. And I've tried to keep it as light as possible and as quick as possible in that respect. I have hundreds of slides, hundreds of images. And it's a rabbit's warren of deceit. We have many, many bad actors. And I will be doing a part 2 or a Janus one on its own with this. But I just wanted to show you that the Pope met Janus. And with that, I will say goodbye. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. And I hope I didn't trigger too many people with that information. Please do your own research. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. But you can only go where the breadcrumbs lead. And with that, blessings. Look after yourself, everybody. Bye.